Hey guys, I'm going to show you how I label things to make them the most useful to me later. This is John Doe's chart, so the tech people use it a lot, and so it doesn't show to the full extent how useful this way of labeling things is, but you can use your imagination. So let's say I got this Epworth Sleepiness Scale back. Looks like no one actually filled it out. I'll usually use shorthand myself, Epworth Sleepiness Scale. Let's say his was 9. And then results abnormal, and it's under forms. I'm going to click file. So here it is now under forms. You can see it's highlighted in red because I said it was abnormal. Imagine if all of these Epworth sleepiness scales that they were messing around with, figuring out how to put it in my build, all had what his Epworth sleepiness scale was. If for some reason I was tracking that, I could then just glance at it and see all of the Epworth sleepiness scales in a row and compare how he's done over time. I do this with, here's the Beck depression and anxiety inventory. So anxiety was 19, depression was 30. So here you go, the title's Beck anxiety inventory 19, Beck depression inventory 30. So now if I had a whole string of these here, I could see how it changed over time. I'll do this. I don't know if I have any fake doctor's notes from specialists and stuff, but let's just say, let's make one of these. Let's pretend that this Berlin sleep form is actually a note from a specialist. So I'll say something like, neuro, Dr. X, initial visit, Rex, MRI, and LP. So now what I do, let me say that's abnormal. And then, oops, I shouldn't have put under forms. Everything's going automatically under forms. There we go. Grab this real quick. Let's put that under documents. So now under documents, I can glance here and see every neuro visit with who it was, what the recommendation was, or every specialist visit. If everything's normal at the visit and they don't recommend anything, then I'll mark it as normal, and I'll say Dr. X final visit, return if problems. And so now that just kind of blends in with everything else, but if I'm trying to figure out what was done or what I need to do, I now know that that's what Dr. X says. So if I have a kiddo, for example, who's seeing ENT, has some hearing issues, so forth, I'll put all of that kiddo's hearing tests, ENT visits, etc. in here with who it is, what the recommendations were, what any findings were, anything like that, and then I can just skim through the entire list and kind of see the progression. Or if mom has a question, I can just glance at it. She can say, oh, I didn't know they said that he had thus and so problem. I can just click on that one and pull it up and reference it to her. So it makes it really easy for me to get any results that I need. It only takes a moment longer, since I have to read it anyways, to title it something useful. I do the same thing with notes. So not good examples here, but for example, when I refilled the levothyroxine, I titled it levothyroxine, and you can see by the little RX there, this was a refill. Yeah, these aren't really helpful, but let's say, I was going to do a new sample note. Actually, let's just take this new one I just did, how to do referrals. So I labeled it how to do referrals, but let's say he came in today and he was complaining of, let's do back pain, headache, refills on thyroid. And then I'm going to click save. And so now when I look at his list, back pain, headache, refills on thyroid, I know exactly what we covered. And so I want to have that as an admin note. So you probably want to have this as an office visit if we're doing it as an office visit. There we go. So now I can glance back and see right away. You can imagine if there was a whole string of these. If the patient said, now didn't I have a headache last year? I can scroll down and be like, oh yes, back in November you had a headache, and then I can just easily click on it and say, okay, here's what we did. Well, this is a non-note, but let's say that there was a whole summary here. I can say, here's what we discussed at the time. Here's what I recommended. You said you didn't want to do anything at that point. It sounds like you might want to do something now. Let's talk about it. So it makes it really handy to go back to what was done before. For anyone seeing continuity patients, that can make a huge difference. If you have any questions about this, of course, let me know. Or if you have other things you want me to cover on how to use MDHQ to its ultimate